Welcome to Financially Legal, the podcast of inspiration and tactical advice for the entrepreneurial, mission-driven lawyer. Case management is becoming the heart, even the operating system of modern law firms. Many law firms know that they need case management, but they're unsure about which one of the hundreds or even thousands of options to use. We at Gravity Legal know this because lawyers ask us this question all the time. I'm your Financially Legal host, Dan Lear. This limited podcast series on Financially Legal is designed to provide firms with the information and insight to choose the system that's right for them. Over the coming episodes, we'll talk with a number of case management companies. We're asking all of them the same questions with the goal of allowing viewers or listeners to evaluate their options side by side. If you're curious about what legal case management software is right for your firm, listen on or head to gravity-legal.com/LCM, that stands for Legal Case Management, where we have several resources to help you select the right system for your firm. Founded in 2016, Litify is a legal operating solution that helps law firms, in-house legal departments, and government agencies run smarter. Powered by Salesforce, Litify is transforming the legal industry with the same state-of-the-art analytics, automation, and security that nearly every Fortune 100 business relies on. From intake and document management to timekeeping, billing, and analytics, Litify's integrated and flexible platform empowers users with the technology and tools to run a high-performing business. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Dov Slansky, Vice President of Strategy and Innovation at Litify, to the Financially Legal podcast. Dov, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Dan.
So I want to launch into our discussion about legal case management and about Litify, but I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself. And I didn't warn you about this, so I'm catching you a little off guard. But I think that Litify has a pretty interesting backstory, and maybe you'll cover this in my first question. But I know that you folks have a fairly close relationship with Morgan & Morgan, John Morgan being a fairly well-known attorney in the United States these days. As you give us a quick intro, I'd love for you to give a little bit of background about Litify's relationship with Morgan as well, if that's all right.
Sure. And Dov Slansky, Vice President, Strategy and Innovation. I've been with Litify since we got the company started now about 7 years ago. My background is actually as an attorney. Did a bunch of different work in my career before helping to get Litify off the ground. And I guess the backstory here is that myself, a couple other folks were actually working at Morgan at the time. I think there's really no secret about that. And when we had the idea to build out some technology, we realized that there was an opportunity to do so that was something we could do as a business. So in order to accomplish that goal, what happened was we left the firm, got the firm's blessing, we left the firm, set up Litify on its own, started building it out. Morgan is a customer, and still, maybe not necessarily always, but still, we're making some strides in some other areas too. They're obviously a customer of ours, but at this point, we have grown, right? So we obviously are still maintaining a close relationship with them and the rest of our customers, but we have grown in the fact that we have done a couple of rounds of venture capital funding over the years. Most recently, earlier this year, we closed a substantial stake with Bessemer Venture Partners, and we're incredibly pleased to partner with them on Litify's journey. They're a really well-known venture firm who has taken an interest in Litify, has put a substantial amount of trust and faith in us, and really helping us continue to grow. And as a result, we're able to expand our business into other areas. So maintaining a focus on the plaintiff vertical where we started, which will always be at least near and dear to me personally, for sure. It's my background as an attorney. It accounts for really the majority of our business. But also to be able to grow into the defense space. So working with insurance defense law firms, transactional law firms, as well as corporate legal, which is where I have been spending a bunch of my time lately in leading that vertical and growing into working with some of the largest Fortune 100, Fortune 10, whatever companies they might be around the world, to be able to partner with them and be able to deliver Litify's best-in-class legal technology to them.
Awesome. And congratulations on that recent round. I did see that and was excited for you folks. Also, we definitely know you're in the transactional space because we integrate with you folks and have a number of mutual customers. So pleased to see that expansion as well.
Yeah, it's really been great to watch Litify grow in that area and grow outside our original space that we're in. And we continue to invest there. Obviously, there's a ton that we're doing nowadays, obviously, with our product, with the AI focus. We're built on Salesforce. There's a lot to talk about what they're doing with the underpinning, the foundation that we're on. But the transactional side is huge for us. The customers we have in common, they do a tremendous amount of work. It's a big area of us from a growth standpoint, and one that we've been working closely with you guys, amongst others, to continue to grow.
Love it. That seems like a very logical place to jump into our first question, which is when you were at Morgan or when you folks incubated this idea to build Litify, what was the problem that you started out to solve? And then my subsequent questions are, do you feel that you've solved that problem and or has your vision shifted along the way?
I don't think the problem will ever be solved because the problem that we set out to solve, and I usually like to use the word tackle because I think it has a longer term,
Fair. Yeah.
right? Was that bring best in class technology to legal had for a long time had good technology. I think they probably fell behind a little bit. Our goal was, can we bring the best in class technology that the rest of the business world uses? That being Salesforce. Right? If you took a poll around, I think Salesforce's stats are 99% of the Fortune 500 and 89% of the Fortune 100 use Salesforce, which is an incredible statistic to cite, but law firms don't. And that's because Salesforce doesn't have a law firm product. So it makes sense that they don't really use it. Our goal is, can we take that core foundation and turn it into a product that legal departments, law firms of all shapes and sizes can take advantage of? We've done that, obviously. Have we solved the problem? No, because you always need to continue iterating and building more. It's not that we've created Litify and therefore we can move on to the next. There's so much more space for us to do. And I think that informs on your sub question of, has our vision shifted? The answer is no. The answer to our vision has always been and always will be to continue to bring the best technology platform to law firms and to legal departments. So it's not about solving a single problem for them, right? There's a lot of tools out there that will solve a single problem. Our goal is to be the platform that can help them solve the business need as a whole, whether it's by ourselves, whether it's integrating with folks like Gravity Legal, like yourself, to be able to bring that connected ecosystem, that one place where all of their work happens. That really has always been our vision. And we've now maybe expanded that vision to include other types of law firms and legal departments along the way. But that's where we continue to focus all of our effort in, is can we bring the best technology possible to our customers?
I love it. And as that vision has evolved, who has emerged as your ideal customer? And you've already set up that you're really working across a number of different, even sub-verticals within legal. But how do you describe, and the reason I ask this question and I try to pin folks down is, I hope that a listener out there will hear what you say and say, hey, that looks like me. So I know you folks are in kind of the contingency space. You're in the transactional space, you're in-house. I think you even do some service, some governments, but how do you describe the perfect kind of customer? What do they look like, or what are their characteristics? How do you know when you're talking to someone that is likely to be a great candidate for Litify?
There's a lot of talk that is out there on the size of an organization or the size of a law firm. And you need to be a certain size before you do X or Y. And you should think about having an administrator when you're a certain size, and you need this software when you reach a certain size. I think most of it's arbitrary, because a law firm or a legal department of 50 people might be doing more or less work than a law firm of 500 people. And the amount of people you have is not really the answer there. What we look at is, we would say that Litify is for high volume, growth oriented, operational minded companies. So a high volume law firm, typically found right in the plaintiff space, you have tons of them. People who do personal injury at a really high volume, multi-state, large advertisers. They're dealing with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of inquiries a year, the same number of cases, a really high volume of work. Same on the defense side, the transactional side. You get insurance defense law firms who are doing the same thing. They're getting tens of thousands of cases from insurance companies to litigate. So high volume work. Growth oriented, where even if you are not yet at that level, maybe you only have a few thousand cases, but your firm is growing rapidly. We're seeing it a ton in the immigration space and the family space, where these firms are growing really quickly. They need a system that is capable of working for them today, but is not going to run out of runway. They need to be able to scale on it, and not just for the next 2 years, but for the next 5 or 10 years. So they're not going to run out of runway. So growth oriented is important. And then the operationally minded is important too, right? If you're a organization that is simply looking for shiny bells and whistles, fancy toys, the latest and greatest, there's a lot of technology out there, right? And you have a plethora of which to choose from. But for folks who are operationally minded, who want to understand what their business is actually doing, where their work comes from, whether it's from advertising on the law firm side, or it's from other departments in the business on the in-house counsel side, or other agencies on the government side, who's doing the work, which department, which practice area, which practice group, which team is doing the work, how well the work is being done, how well it's being done, and how quickly it's being done, all the way through revenue. So if you're a plaintiff firm, do you understand what percentage of the settlement you're getting? How does that inform against your advertising and your operating costs? If you're a transactional law firm, but about your hourly fees, are you able to correctly manage them? Forecast utilization. And on the in-house side, making sure you're not spending too much money, that you're paying your bills appropriately, you're not spending too much money. That operational mindset is really key to get the analytical data you need to run a successful business.
So high volume, growth oriented, operationally minded. Are those the three?
Yep.
That's great. And I can see absolutely how that could stretch across different.
Yeah, I think the result of that is we don't have a specific size. We don't have a specific geographic area. We don't even have a specific practice area, let's say. Sure, there are some that we've done more work in than others, of course. Have we done more personal injury work than bankruptcy work? Sure. Doesn't mean that we don't do bankruptcy work. Of course not. Litify is endlessly flexible, can do whatever we want in that area. That's why we have tremendous immigration and family law practices, even though probably a couple of years ago, we didn't have any of them, but we grew into that space because our customers demanded it. We develop it. The system is flexible. And as long as you want to use the technology in the right way and you want to invest in the future of your firm or the future of your organization, Litify is absolutely the system for you. So it's an interesting question we get in terms of the size. When should you consider it? The answer is it almost doesn't matter. There is a point where you're probably small. I'll admit that. I mean, you want to be fiscally minded. If you're below a certain point, you're right. You probably don't need a piece of software like Litify. And I think we can all agree on that. And I'm perfectly candid about that. If you're a small law firm, solo law firm, a couple of people, do you need Litify? Probably not. If you're growing, let's talk, right? But otherwise, probably not. But at a certain point, money is money. You got to manage it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's dive into a few of the yes or no questions I've got here. Does your system handle case management and matter tracking?
Absolutely. All different shapes and sizes.
Love it. Does your system offer document management storage?
We do. We do. Something we built out a couple of years ago. It was a core need. We had seen it was a fragmented piece for law firms for a long time in terms of using other systems, local storage, and we built it out, giving them scale on their documents out as well. We all know law firms love their paper.
Yep. Even digital.
Even digital paper.
Does the system offer time tracking and billing capabilities?
Absolutely. With a ton of automation around those two to really augment your ability to capture that time.
Does the system offer calendar and schedule management?
Yep. With syncing with Outlook, Gmail, whatever it might be. Some really nice abilities there to make sure that you have your calendar stuff all properly situated. You don't want to miss a deadline.
And then does the system offer built-in CRM and marketing features?
Sure. Our foundation is Salesforce. So CRM is in our DNA. Marketing features too, email, text messages, drip campaigns. And then I think what's really unique is a full ability to report on those. So you want to do full funnel reporting in terms of your cost per lead, your cost per acquisition, what you're actually spending and how that informs not just on your intake, but ideally across the entire life cycle of the case, all the way down to the fee you're getting. That's part of it as well.
Awesome. How does Litify ensure data security, privacy, and uptime or continuity?
Salesforce, right? It's what lets me sleep at night. I'm not responsible for a server somewhere that's holding our customers' data. It all lives directly on the Salesforce platform, which is industry leading, best in the world in terms of security, uptime, privacy, whatever ABCs of security certification you seek, all the way up to FedRAMP High, Litify can provide. So you have the peace of mind of knowing your data lives where you want it. That means there's data residency protections too. If you need it in Canada or the EU or the US, there's data residency protections. There's security, there's uptime, whatever you need, we can actually provide because, again, Salesforce is the best in the business at that.
What kind of customer support does Litify offer? Phone, chat, email, all three, and when is it available?
We have a full support desk. So I believe that is email ticketing on our support desk. We also pair every one of our customers with a customer success manager. So you actually have a person at Litify that you can reach out to with an email address, with a phone number that you can reach out to, who's able to help you. If you have a question, you want to know how to do something, you can reach out. We also offer as an added service, like a managed service offering, where you can actually buy managed hours from Litify to actually help you build things or administer your system, making sure that you have the support at whatever level you need, whether it's pure technical support at the foundational, all the way up to managing the actual system for you.
And let me ask one additional question, because I know that you folks obviously benefit pretty significantly from Salesforce. Is there ever a time that the kind of support issues need to be escalated to Salesforce, or do you folks have most of the capability to handle those kinds of support issues in-house?
It really all runs through us. We're the product. There are rare instances where we might need like some Salesforce assistance if there's some sort of engineering problem or something. But again, that's all run through us. So the customers only interface with Litify if, in fact, we would need to get to some sort of gnarly server issue. Sure, we'll reach out to Salesforce. We are the highest level partner tier that Salesforce has. So we have people that we can work with if needed on an engineering basis. But candidly, the support is all done through us. It's our product. We built it. We own it. We support it.
Love it. How do you price your offering?
Per user on an annual basis. Pretty straightforward. You can get anything you need through us. Sometimes customers are asking questions like, oh, do I need to have Salesforce before you guys or not? The answer is we're a one-stop shop. So we're built on Salesforce, which gives you the best of that ability, but you contract with Litify directly. We sell you everything you need. It's as simple as however many users you have, there's an annual fee that you pay for Litify, and you get to use it.
Okay. What are your most popular integrations? Do people plug other systems into Litify? What other things are they trying to get access to that Litify doesn't offer, or that you've chosen to leverage outside of your platform?
So you mean like Gravity Legal for one, right?
This is not a shill for me, but
no, I know I was making a joke. But yes,
but you can certainly mention us. We're not going to complain.
I think you're a good example of the types of things that customers want to plug inside, right? And there's different categories, right? We could lump them all under sort of related services, but the answer is think about what you do as a business. So if you're a personal injury law firm, there's things like finance, whether it's QuickBooks or Sage or NetSuite. There's things like medical records gathering. There's things like e-filing. There's docketing software. If you're on the transactional side, there's some overlap. There's probably some medical records. If you're on the insurance defense side, there's definitely some transactional stuff. There's litigation stuff for depositions and court recording, service of process integrations, obviously payment integrations with you guys, with some other folks as well. And then there's some generalized integrations whereby there's entire products that can be built in to further extend other things, right? So if there's something that has not built an integration to Salesforce directly, which there's thousands of them that exist for Salesforce directly that we can usually take advantage of, right? There's what Salesforce calls an app exchange where you can take a look at that. So things like DocuSign, for example, it's off the shelf, we plug it right in. Then there's the full Salesforce REST API. So if you want to custom build something, it's entirely there. It's what you guys, for example, took advantage of to build it. You can build out whatever integration you want. And then there are integration platforms like Workato and Zapier, and Salesforce actually has their own called MuleSoft, which is for large scale like ERP integrations. There's a ton that are off the shelves. It's a scenario where when customers ask the question, we're usually saying, yes, we can integrate. It's either we've done it already and we can pick it up off the shelf and plug it in, or we haven't done it yet, but the capability is there because Salesforce offers fantastic back-end ability to access the data ins and outs under the correct protections. So if we haven't done it, it's simply a matter of just going ahead and doing it, but the ability is there.
Okay. And I feel like you've already done this, but I want to give you a chance to do it directly. So you're talking to that ideal customer. Give them your best sales pitch. Sure.
I keep it general because there's a couple different ideal customers, I think, but I think the answer lies in what we talked about earlier, which is the type of firm that you are. If you're a firm that is looking to grow, if you're a firm that is looking to do a better job of managing your business, if you're a firm that is high volume, same thing goes for an internal organization, right? On the corporate in-house side, you want a platform that's going to be able to take your business from here, 2023, as far into the future as possible. Far be it for me to use the word future-proof. I don't think it's a real thing. The future cannot be prevented from coming.
Yeah, no, 2020 was a breeze.
Exactly. But you can do a much better job of dealing with the future by making the right decision today. And that means investing in an actual platform to run your business on. Something that is scalable and has proven to be scalable. There's a reason why Salesforce is the biggest in the industry and has been for the last 20 years. You want to invest in a platform for your business going to take you into the future. Whether that means you're going to open up a new practice area, you're going to open up a new office, you're going to diversify and outsource some of your offerings, whatever it might be. You want a platform that's going to be able to flex with you and not one day wake up and go, oh, it can't do that. We probably need to look for another piece of technology. You might. Of course. We're not going to get into areas that our other related vendors do. It's not our core business, right? But we built it on Sales for a reason, because we want to plug in, we want to play nice with them, and we want to give our customers that connected experience so that whatever the future brings, that it'll all work together. So our ideal customer understands that. They're not looking to spend less money, and they're not looking to set it up tomorrow because there's some sort of hair on fire need, but they want to invest in the future of their business. And that means that they're going to buy a piece of software, they're going to go through an implementation, they're going to set it up, and then honestly, for the next 5 or 10 years, they're not going to have to worry about it.
So how can listeners find out more?
Litify.com is probably the best place to go. Always welcome to email me, Dov, D-O-V, at litify.com. Email me direct. Happily to talk to anybody who has questions or wants a friendly ear.
Cool. Thanks so much, Dov. This has been great.
My pleasure.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of our special series on legal case management. If you're interested in exploring more legal case management options, head to gravity-legal.com/LCM, where we have several resources to help you select the right software for your firm.